Welcome back and good morning, Central Oregon. Reverend Dr. Stephen Koski joins me this morning. He is the senior pastor at the First Presbyterian Church of Bend. Good morning.
Good morning.
It is spring and it's baseball season.
It's baseball. Started last night. And this time of year, I'm always thinking about hope because I'm just a mad, passionate Cubs fan, and every time this time of year comes around, I'm thinking, okay, maybe this year.
But hope, it's something that a lot of us could use these days.
It's sure. I mean, who couldn't? Carl Menninger, the world-renowned psychiatrist, said hope really is, the medicine for what ails us. And somebody told me just the other day, I feel really hopeless. And I'm hearing that a lot. But what we need to realize is that hope really isn't dependent on the circumstances around us. That I believe that hope is actually far more important than the facts. Because it's hope that will give us the courage and the strength we need to actually change the facts, to change our circumstances.
Dale Carnegie actually said something very compelling around that.
Yeah, he said most of the important things in life have been accomplished by those who refused to give up, who refused to give in, who just kept trying, kept believing, kept living, kept loving, in spite of the circumstances, which is just a huge message.
It is interesting too, those people that you will read about or see a news story on that had nothing left, nothing, and yet come from behind and just achieve their goals. It is
and what
pretty
we
amazing.
learn from them is that hope isn't an emotion. It is a decision, an inner decision. I mean, most people assume that hope is an emotion. So if things are going really well in your life, if things look really good, you feel hopeful. If things are going really bad, if things look bleak, you feel hopeless. So if you look at it that way, whether you feel hopeful or hopeless is completely dependent on the circumstances outside of us. I mean, another way to look at this is to realize that hope is an inner decision. It's an inner decision that each of us can make to actually bring hope where hope is absent, to bring hope where things seem hopeless. And that's such an empowering thing to realize, is that it's not about what's going on out there. It's what we can do in here. I mean, I love the quote with Eleanor Roosevelt. When she died, her good friend, Senator Adlai Stevenson, wrote a big article about her in the New York Times and said, Eleanor chose to light a candle rather than curse the darkness. And it is the glow of her candle that has warmed the world.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where we get that famous quote. It is better to light a candle than curse the darkness. And I think that's what it means to choose hope. It is dark, but we can light a candle.
Also, Christopher Reeve once said something.
Paralyzed in an accident, he said, anybody who chooses hope, when you choose hope, anything is possible. And one of the most amazing stories I've come across that give evidence to that is this father and son racing team, Dick and Rick Hoyt. And they have run 85 marathons, which is crazy in and of itself, and 8 Ironman triathlons together. Now that in itself is an incredible achievement, but this father and son team are very different. Rick, the son, was born severely brain damaged, unable to control any of his limbs, unable to communicate. I mean, I couldn't fathom that. I mean, I would assume that things seem pretty hopeless. His parents, when he was about 11 years old, noticed that he seemed to be in some ways tracking what was going on. So they arranged for a computer through Tufts University where he could actually type by just slightly twitching the side of his head. Now, I mean, who could blame this young man for being bitter, for kind of focusing on what he couldn't do? Amazingly, the very first word he typed with his head was can. So he was able to go to school. And one of his high school friends was in a car accident, was paralyzed, so they had a charity run to raise money for him. And he typed to his dad, "Dad, I'd like to do this." So the dad, who was a heart attack waiting to happen, I mean, had never run more than a mile in his life, wanted to make this happen for his son. So he pushed his regular wheelchair 5 miles. And after that, he typed to his dad, "Dad, when we were running, it felt like I wasn't disabled anymore." I mean, that's all it took. I mean, his dad now had a new mission in life. I mean, I'm going to give my son this experience as often as I possibly could, and they've done this over 100 times. So here's a father and a son. I mean, they could have focused on what they couldn't do, but they chose to focus on what they could do. They could have given in to their circumstances. I mean, they could have given up hope.
Sure.
Instead, they found the strength and the courage and the hope to not only rise above their circumstances, but to transform their circumstances. I mean, I think the best Easter present you could give yourself this week is to choose hope. And to not only choose hope, but to bring hope to somebody else.
Yeah. I love how you come in every month and inspire us. I am choosing hope. This spring, I'm choosing hope. Thank you so much for coming in this
Go
morning.
Cubs.
Great to see you. Yeah, go Cubs. That's right.